There are 3 keys, I believe, to making money. First one's perspicacity. Most people go through life and they do not pay attention. I've said this before and I want to stick by it because it's so important. You need to pay attention to every single time you spend money because you cannot make money. You're not the Federal Reserve, you're not a government. Governments make money. All of us take money from somebody else or a business or a government. We take money from other things. So the easiest way to learn how to get good at taking money is to pay attention to every time someone takes money from you. So next time you buy a coffee, don't just buy the coffee and drink it and think nothing of it. Say, okay, why am I buying this coffee? Okay, I want a coffee. All right, why am I buying here? Well, this is on my way to work. Is there any competition around? Do I also want breakfast? Do they sell breakfast? No, they don't sell breakfast. They could probably make some more money if they're selling breakfast. Anyway, I walk in, there's a long line. Why is there 1 member of staff? I'm low on time. I'm about to leave and not buy the coffee. They're about to lose money because it's taking too long. Most of the people in this line are businessmen. Why is there not a cute girl behind the counter? I bet if they paid a cute girl a little bit more, they'd still make a bunch more money because people would come in here to talk to her. Think. And then what you'll do is, as you go through life, every time you spend money, is you'll realize the problem is not how to make money. The problem is how much time you have because there's endless business ideas. There's endless ideas. I walk into a coffee shop and by the time I've walked out, I already know exactly how to open up next door and outcompete them head to toe. I already have worked out how much is the rent, where are they fucking up, what are they not selling that they should be selling, what are they doing good, what are they doing bad, this chair is too hard, I'll wreck them. So you need to start paying attention. It's the first thing. Second thing is network. It's hard to make money if you don't know anybody who has money. So if you sit in a room full of people who are making a bunch of money, everyone understands this. Your network is your net worth. You're the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Everybody understands this. And then they still hang around with fucking losers. You're right, I am the sum of the 5 people I spend the most time with. Anyway, this is my friend Nick. He's so funny when we go drinking because he gets really drunk. Losers. Everyone I talk to is rich. Everyone I talk to is making money. Everybody. If my entire reality is full of multimillionaires making money, how am I not going to make money? And this is why network is so important, is because it's the same reason that wolves hunt in packs. If you're a lone animal, you have one set of eyes. But if you're a pack, you're watching every single angle, every single side. Perhaps I might miss something. And third, it's to identify the reason why you don't have as much money as you want so far. And there's one of 3 reasons. You are either lazy, stupid, or arrogant. Those are the only 3 reasons anyone is poor. And you have to identify and choose which one it is.
I think like people have 2 sets of resources, right, that they allocate. So they've got time and they've got money.
Yeah.
And so if you look at someone's bank statement and you look at their calendar, you know what their life is. And you can also predict where their life is going to be in X amount of years, right? And so if someone wants to change what their life is going to look like, you have to reallocate where you're investing the resources that you have. And so from a time perspective, people who are poor, in my opinion, spend a lot of time not doing stuff. And that sounds terrible to say, but like at the base level, they're distracted, right? Well, I would even say not doing anything, all that stuff, right? So there's like the base is like they don't do anything. They're purely distracting themselves from their current state, which is hard because it's hard to confront reality. If you're like not happy, it's easier to just distract yourself. Now, the level above that is you've got people who are operating, they are working every day, but they're operating in low leverage opportunities, right? So they're doing things that do not give them a lot of return on their time, right? And so it's like I could work, it doesn't matter how many hours I work at McDonald's, like it's very, very difficult to become wealthy there. Near impossible, versus like buy a building for $10 million and then sell it to somebody else for $11 million, just get the contract and make $1 million on the exchange, which is crazy for somebody who doesn't have money to even contemplate something like that. And so right now for people who are poor, it's because they actually don't see reality for what it is. Because the way they see reality, they see making money to be impossible or incredibly difficult, or it's only for a certain select people, not for them, right? And it's just because they literally cannot see it. I think Elon was saying something about how Neuralink in the future, it's gonna be such a competitive advantage that they could price it at whatever they want, because once you have it, you'll be so much more able than anyone who doesn't have it that you could so easily pay off the price of the thing. That's how it should work conceptually.
You saw this last night. This is you, the room, and this is you, YouTubers. Pay attention, YouTubers, you f***ing and Merry Christmas. You stand around and watch all the opportunities go by. You sit there, you sit there, you sit there. They sit there, they sit there. Oh, I'm getting ready. Bert's getting ready. Bert's getting ready. Rick's getting ready. Oh, maybe the next one. Maybe the next one. Maybe the next one. Oh, no, I'm tired now. Maybe the next one. Maybe the next one. And And there comes somebody like me, just jumps on and eats it. Maybe the next one, Ray. Who in this room is that male lion? Once you become fearless, life becomes limitless. You don't need case studies. You have a template. You have a mother script that a monkey can read. That Alex wants a case study because he wants to know the shit behind it because he's stupid. And that's why he's poor. You don't need any mother case studies. How many times do I have to say? You have the script. I said don't change a word on the script. Not a comma. If it's got misspelled words, send it out misspelled. The last thing you need is a case study. This is why you're poor. This is why the is watching this on YouTube are so poor.
There are a lot of lazy people. The unfortunate reality about money is that you are competing. So it's player versus player. It's like anything in the world. If you want that beautiful girl, so does everyone else. You have to win the competition. You want that car, you have to get it first. You want that money, everyone wants that money. You have to compete. It's competitive. Business is competitive. You are competing against people like me. You're competing against people like the people in my network. You're competing about people who only talk about money, who understand money very well, who operate in jurisdictions all around the planet, who are extremely well connected, who know things before you know them, who have mass influence and mass power and mass resource. You're competing against me. This is what you must understand. You're not waking up going, I want to make some money. You're competing against people like me. You're competing against billionaires. You're competing against hedge funds. This is who you're competing against. So the competition is absolutely and utterly fierce. Understanding that you're a man with a small pistol up against a mighty army. If you want to add a little bit of laziness on top, you're f***ed. So when I say people are lazy, they go, I'm not lazy. I work hard every day. You work 8 hours a day? You work eight? If I'm awake, I'm working. I'll be driving my Bugatti Chiron through Dubai, working. I'm texting at the same time. I don't take a second off. I don't take a minute off. I don't relax. I don't rest. I don't stop. I don't chill. None, ever. I'm either asleep or at work. That's it. And you are at home competing against me, and you want to watch a movie tonight and then say you're not lazy. You're lazy, and you're going to lose forever. That's laziness. Next is stupid. I don't think many people are actually too stupid to be rich. You can be below average IQ and still get very rich. A very small percentage of people are too dumb to be rich. The slave minds, they'll never be rich because the matrix tries to keep you poor, because when you're poor, you can't think, like we talked about earlier. So everything the media tells you is designed to make you poor. They want you broke and struggling. Because if you rely on the government for food stamps, then you can't argue with the government, can you? They don't want you rich. If you're rich, you won't listen to them. So we have people who are lazy, very few are stupid, but the majority, the main reason most people are broke is because they are arrogant. And then I'll say, I'll teach you how to make money online. CobraTate.com, you can join the real world. And they'll sit there and go, nah, I'll do it myself. They're arrogant. They have these egos from knows where because they didn't earn it. And they're just too arrogant to listen to anybody. I became world champion by listening to my coach. I didn't become world champion by walking in and saying, I'll do it myself. That's not how you get anywhere in life. You have to listen. If Mike Tyson were to walk in, or if Elon Musk were to walk in here and talk to me about money, I wouldn't be sitting there going, I can do that. I'd be like, oh, Mr. Elon, richest man in the world. Hello, very nice to meet you. Please, even though I already understand I don't want to launch a car brand or put rockets in space, please, you must know some things I don't know. How do you deal with the currency fluctuations? Does inflation impact how much it costs for you to send a rocket into space? Like, I'd ask him something that's useful, right? But some people are so brutally arrogant that they'll sit here and they'll listen to all the things I said, and they'll agree that I'm intelligent, they'll agree I'm massively successful, but they'll sit there and go, yeah, but you know what? I'll do it myself. I don't want to join that school because, I'll do it myself. They're arrogant. Everybody's fucking arrogant. I sit with people who I used to go to school with from Luton who are still broke and tell them how to make money. And you know what they do? They answer back. What level of arrogance? But this is people. They'll sit with a multi-millionaire and tell you their view. Oh, I think that know when you're out qualified and accept it and learn. So we all do. I'm not going to I can't play piano for shit. If the piano teacher walked in here and said, this is what you do, and I said, well, I like to move my hands this way. What kind of dumbass? But this is the arrogance people operate under.
First of all, let's go back to what is financial education? It's not get a job, work hard, save money, and invest in a well-diversified portfolio of stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and ETFs. That's not it. Financial industry is two things, debt and taxes. And that's where things starts. 1971, Nixon took the dollar off the gold standard, and the US dollar became debt. And we still tell kids to go to school, get a job, work hard, save money, and get out of debt. Now, who tells them to do that? That's the most ridiculous thing there is. Why would you save it and why would you work for it if they can print it faster than you can work for it? And number two is they keep dropping the interest rates on it. Why do you keep saving when they're printing it? So what happens to the average person in a financial crash, they don't know what to do. And right now, as you know, for the middle class of the world, we're in a crash. The purchasing power of the yen, the euro, the rupiah, all going down. And people are working harder and harder and harder, and the central banks of the world are printing more money.
When you think about what is money, right? That's kind of the first question people really kind of go down the rabbit hole on. And ultimately today, it's a belief system, right? And you may believe that one currency has more value over another because it's backed by a certain military or a certain government has a monetary policy that you believe in or don't believe in. But ultimately, it's a belief system. There's nothing backing this other than a government asks you to pay your taxes in it. Right? And they can have a monopoly on violence in terms of they can put you in jail if you don't pay your taxes. They can go to other countries and they can invade and do all this stuff. It wasn't always like that, right? It was historically a layer one technology was gold. And so gold was a fantastic store of value. You knew that if you held gold, it wasn't going to be inflated away. It was sound money. It was outside the system and no one could create more of it. And the reason why that's important is because that optimization for store of value served as the bedrock of the entire stack of money for 5,000 years. And so the problem with that, though, again, trade-off between store of value is it was really hard to transact with, right? If I came in here and you said, hey, I want a couple of ounces of gold and I had a whole bar, I'd have to literally shave off the ounces of gold. It's heavy to carry around. If you said to me, hey, you're in one city, mail it to me, which is really expensive. There's all these issues with it. And so ultimately what people said was, well, let's create a second layer on top of that gold in order to make it easier to transact. And so we created paper claims on the gold. So, hey, don't carry around the gold in your pocket anymore. Put it in a vault or a bank. They're going to issue a paper claim. Now you and I can trade these paper claims around. And at any point, if you want the gold, you just show up and you say, hey, give me 3 ounces of gold or 2 bars or whatever. And so that actually made the store of value. It allowed that to be the anchor and kind of the most important part, the security of your purchasing power. But now it became easier to transact. And then eventually we built layers even on top of that. So everything from electronic money, kind of electronic QSIPs, all the way to credit and other systems on top of that gold. 1971 comes around and obviously we depeg from that gold, right? And it was a temporary measure at the time. We ended up not going back to it. And so what you moved or transitioned from was sound money, which was outside the system. No one could create more, to now the government had full control. They could create as much as they wanted to. They tried to be responsible and disciplined, but obviously hard to do. Sometimes we've been really good at it. Sometimes we've been less good at it. And then you go around the world and some countries have absolutely sucked at it and some have been good at it. And so when you look into the Bitcoin world, I think that when you look at the optimization for security, it's similar to gold. Store value, people hold it. Purchasing power has gone up a lot year over year. It's like a 200% year over year compounded annual growth for over a decade, right? And so you measure this in kind of the US dollar exchange price, et cetera. But there's still a lot of people who will yell and scream about it's slow, it's costly, right? All the things around those transactions that are obstacles or challenges. And so there's basically two schools of thought. And this is where we kind of get into the bifurcation. Some people just said, hey, this technology is antiquated. We can't use it. It doesn't make sense. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go build something new. And so you go get, kind of all of the various versions there. The Bitcoin community says, no, just like gold had paper claims and other things built on top in layer 2, 3, 4, 5, we're going to do that here. And so they've already started to build kind of this layer 2 where it's easier to transact, it's cheaper, it's faster, etc. I actually think that both of those worlds are going to coexist in the future. The big question is just which one has more importance, right? So again, get out of binary. It's just probabilistically. And so my personal belief is that the security, the store of value component as the bedrock for a monetary system is essential, right? Like that is the most important thing, because you can always improve the other components, but you can't go back and fix that kind of core piece. And so if you look around the world at currencies today, they're all the same. They're all inflationary, unlimited supply controlled by a government, done and decisions made in a very non-transparent process. And what we've watched is the manipulation of all of those currencies over the last 12 months. In direct contrast to that is this thing, Bitcoin, which is outside of the system, has a finite supply, transparent and programmatic monetary policy. And so when you see those two systems kind of in comparison to each other, in the United States, there's a lot of people who say the dollar works great for me. I can go to the ATM, I can get out physical cash. If I want to swipe a card, I could do that. My money in my bank doesn't lose 50% of its value in a day in terms of purchasing power. Like the dollar's pretty good. When you go to other countries, that might not be the case.